The Tao of Self-Confidence, episode 452. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. Visit our website at thetaoofselfconfidence.com. Your inner journey to self-confidence awaits. Well, hello friend. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. I'm your host today, Sheena Yap Chan, and today I have a phenomenal lady on the show today. She is a social entrepreneur, and I'm just really excited to have her on today to share her story with us on self-confidence. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Bonnie Chiu. Bonnie, how are you today? Maybe you can fill in a little bit more about yourself to our listeners.
Great. Hi, Sheena. Thanks for inviting me. As I'm Bonnie, I am a social entrepreneur born and raised in Hong Kong. I have two businesses I'm running in parallel to each other. The first is called Lensational. It is a non-profit aiming to equip marginalized women in developing countries with photography training and digital skills so that they have the ability to express themselves and have their voices heard on the global stage. And the other one, which I'm running out of London, is called the Social Investment Consultancy. I advise a wide range of organizations on their social impact.
Thanks for sharing that. And what's your cultural background?
Yes, I'm born and raised in Hong Kong to Chinese parents. My grandmother, who raised me, has a big influence on me. And she was actually born in Indonesia, but fled Indonesia as a refugee and migrated to Hong Kong that way. So, yeah, I think my cultural background is very much quite traditional Chinese. I suppose really influenced by Confucian values, but I think luckily my parents, because I'm the only child, that they do not necessarily define me as by my gender. And I think that they are quite open-minded that way, that they just see me as a person and would hope to, empower me with as many resources they can provide me, and not necessarily seeing me as a girl and that my values should be defined by who I get married to.
Thanks for sharing that. And Bonnie, what's your favorite self-confidence quote?
Favorite self-confidence quote? I think my mother shared that with me, and I can't have I guess I don't know the literal translation, but it's along the lines of beauty comes from the within. I think growing up, I had a lot of self-confidence issues, one being that I'm naturally quite tanned as a person. So I actually get made fun of quite a lot because of my skin color back in school. And I had a lot of challenges, and I always share with my family that I'm not happy with my skin color, whatnot. But my mother would always just tell me almost every day during my adolescence that beauty comes from the within, and that's the beauty that lasts. And I think that helped me navigate some of those challenges and helped me see my own value as well beyond my skin color or other things that people might point their fingers to.
Thanks for sharing that. And that's a great quote, especially like you mentioned, right? You said you're a little more tan, and living in, Asia, it's like having white skin is considered the standard of beauty, not realizing it's just someone's standards. It's not everybody's, and everyone's beautiful in their own way. So I really love that you mentioned that. And in your own words, how do you define self-confidence?
In my own words, I think self-confidence is a state when your heart, body, and soul are one. So I think probably before venturing on my own entrepreneurial ambitions, there were times when perhaps my body and mind were one, but my heart, like the purpose, I never really felt it. But after I managed to find what are the things that really drive me, what are the things that I want to be doing for the rest of my life, then I naturally found the state where, as I said, that my body, heart, and mind are one, and that really helped me to see myself as someone whose voice will be valued by her own community, but also by people from across the world. And yeah, I think finding that purpose really helped me to be a self-confident individual.
Thanks for sharing that great definition. And what was your life like before your discovery of self-confidence?
I think my life was, what people would define as quite a good life. I mean, I was very well educated, and I was enrolled in a very good university back in Hong Kong. But I think what people probably don't see is that I was never very confident in my own ability, and that I was always living for other people's comments. And after I actually find my purpose, I all of a sudden, I mean, not saying that I don't care about what other people think about me anymore. I still care, but to a lesser extent. And I'm able to actually put in my own judgment of what's good, what's right for myself, and be able to chart my path that way. So yeah, before probably I was someone who's very much kind of fulfilling societal standards, and that everything looks really good on paper, but that internally I didn't feel that this is something that I really want to do or that it makes me really happy.
Thanks for sharing that. And I think that's something we all go through, right? Trying to fulfill other people's expectations, not realizing like that really hurts us in the end. It feels like we're trapped and we feel like, we're not our true selves, and it hurts us, right? I mean, we go through so many things thinking like we're not good enough to go out there and do our own thing. And, what was that point in your life when you realized that you were more than enough to go out there and, make a difference in the world and be the person that you are today? What was that aha moment?
Yeah, so I think the aha moment was actually back in the International Women's Day 2013. So already by that time, I had the idea of Lensational, and that was informed by my earlier life experiences being brought up by my grandmother, who is illiterate, and she always uses photography to express herself. But I was still in university at that time, and there were a few university professors who actually told me that this, you're a very smart young woman, but don't waste your time on this pursuit. So I was discouraged to pursue Lensational, and that was right before the International Women's Day, because we just kind of finished a competition, a social enterprise competition at that time. And I was really demotivated, but I was just using Facebook and reading news that day. And on the International Women's Day, you can imagine there were a lot of stories being shared about people, not just women, but women and men doing things in their capacity to advance gender equality. And I was very touched by some of those stories, and I actually felt very guilty being someone who's brought up in one of the world's most advanced economies and being very well educated and still not feeling the courage to just go out there and do something. So basically that aha moment just came that if these are, unlike everyday heroes, unsung heroes who are doing so many things in their capacity to advance gender equality, then I have no excuse. And I started the Facebook page for Lensational on that day. And I think that was really the time when I just stepped out of my comfort zone and tell my friends and family, this is my idea. Please support me. Tell me what you think. And it really just grew from there. And I think that moment, looking back, I really wouldn't anticipate how it has grown. But I think when you trust in yourself enough to make that small step to really go out of your comfort zone, then you can really test how far you could go.
Thanks for sharing that. And, it makes a difference when we hear other women's stories, right? Especially when they start with totally nothing, right? Sometimes no school, no resources, no money. And yet they can still create something out of nothing. And like you mentioned, right, if it's possible for one person, then it's possible for us, right? And, especially on International Women's Day, like we hear so many amazing stories of women who just go, beyond what most people expect them to do. And, it's just a great feeling like we're not the only people out there who, are doing things or who feel like we might not have the ability to do it, but we can go out there and, even just try, right? And, because of this realization, what's your life been like now?
Yes, I think my life, it's hard to say, to summarize, but I think every day I do feel that I'm using all the resources and my talent to do the best I can to make the world a better place. And I think different from before, I don't live a life of regrets. I don't feel that I'm not achieving my fullest potential every single day. And in a way, it's a nice place to be. And of course, I still have moments of insecurity from, when you get a rejection from a funder, or when someone tells you, oh, what you're doing, maybe you should just go find a job at McKinsey. It does from time to time, there are moments of doubts. But I think in general, I feel good about myself and that I'm on a good way to achieve what I want. And at the end of the day, nothing else really matters apart from what I see of of myself and what my beloved ones see of me. People beyond that, they can say whatever they want, and they can bring me down, but I would still continue to do my work that I think is valuable.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And to the woman who's listening to your episode, she may be in her own journey of self-confidence. What would be that one tip you would give to her?
I think the one tip is really don't listen to what other people say of you, and you are in control of your own destiny and of your own life. I think looking back, and especially for women, especially young women, often we care too much about what other people say of me. And that moment when on the International Women's Day I just took that active step of really going against what other people say about me and say what I should do, it was the most liberating moment. And so I would just actively encourage not to regard other people's comments and just press on and move forward.
Thanks for sharing that. And I think that's a great tip. I know sometimes it's easier said than done, but once you just go out there and do your own thing, whatever other people say about you, it actually just kind of lessens, right? You just kind of let go of other people's notions and you just feel free. So thanks for sharing that great tip. And if our listeners wanted to get to know a little bit more about you and what you do, is there any links or social media profiles we can connect with?
Yes, I think LinkedIn would be a great place. My name is just Bonnie Chiu, and also on Twitter, my Twitter handle is Bonnie SY Chiu. Would love to just connect on LinkedIn and Twitter, and would love to, if you have any questions or you want to go deeper into launching your own entrepreneurial venture and how you go about doing it, I'm happy to share more as well.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And our listeners, if you want to connect with Bonnie, you can also head on over to thetaoofselfconfidence.com and search for Bonnie's name. Her show notes will pop up along with everything else we talked about. And I just want to thank Bonnie for taking the time to share her story and tips with us on self-confidence. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Not a problem. It was great having you on the show. And to our listeners, be on the lookout for another new episode of another amazing woman's journey to self-confidence. And we'll talk to you soon. Bye for now. Thank you for tuning in to another amazing episode of The Tao of Self-Confidence. Visit our website at thetaoofselfconfidence.com to check out cool resources, blog articles, show recaps, and so much more. Your inner journey to self-confidence awaits.